You got Audacity running?
Always,
yeah.
I record everything all the time now.
That's one big storage bucket.
Yeah.
Welcome to GCP Life, episode number 19. GCP Life is a podcast where we discuss Google Cloud and tech. I'm your host, Stephen Bancroft. GCP Life is sponsored by Kasna. And on today's show, ARM on Google Cloud, CloudDB gets some new features, Google gets a bit flexy, plus has Azure really overtaken AWS? But before we get to any of that, I want to introduce the co-host of the show, Dave Wall. How are you going, Dave?
I'm doing great, thanks, Banky. I'm glad to see you back in the chair.
Back in the chair, yes.
Back among the living and civilization.
Oh, boy, I tell you what, a trip coming back after I spoke to you a few days later. Well, it was about after the concert, after about a week later, driving back, and we were coming down a dirt road, and a big 79 series was coming the opposite direction, kicked up a whole bunch of stones and rocks and smashed our front windscreen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so big golf ball sized stone hit the bottom of the front windscreen, big star fracture all over the front of where the passenger is, not in front of the driver, and the windscreen was still kind of in one piece, so we were able to continue. And then about an hour after that, hit an emu. So it was a fun day.
Yeah, right. How far would you have been from home about that point?
About 3 days drive.
Oh, jeez.
we were still we were north of Cunnamulla. We're about 4 hours north of Cunnamulla still, and we're still driving towards Cunnamulla. And we were a long way from nowhere. And you had the windscreen completely smashed. It would have been. We have to drive down a dirt road for about 3 hours to get somewhere before we can even think about getting a screen.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So wrap some Glad wrap over it.
Yeah, Glad wrap and gaffer tape. You saw I had that big roll of gaffer tape on my desk earlier. That's kind of what you would use it for. But yeah, no harm, no foul. The emu didn't do any damage. You know, that's the fourth time I've driven out that way in that vehicle, and that's really the first time I smashed a window and the first time I've had an animal strike. So it's just a numbers game at the end of the day.
Well, I'm glad you got home safe and sound.
Yep.
Just to wallet lighter a little bit.
Back home to the rain too here in Sydney, I tell you what. I won't stop. Yeah, speaking of weather, they've been having some in the UK.
Just a bit. It's, what was it? 22 degrees. It gets a bit too hot for them.
They've had enough weather to melt a data center, apparently. I'll link to an article on the Verge. Look, there's articles everywhere on this, but Google Cloud and Oracle servers located in the UK struggled with cooling-related outages Tuesday as the country experienced record-breaking heat that reached as high as 140 degrees Celsius. Both companies blame temperature for the unexpected shutdowns. You don't think?
And, facilities in the UK just aren't built to be able to handle that level of heat load.
No, it'd be like snowing in Sydney, right? I think the whole place just shuts down.
It's been a rough day for outages then. Yeah, so losing a zone in the UK. I understand that Teams is down worldwide right now.
Teams is down as well, really? I'm trying to see what's going on with Teams.
Now, I heard from my partner. She's like, "Oh, is there something wrong with the internet?" I'm like, "Oh, no, it's fine." And then check it out. Not Teams has gone everywhere.
Oh no, I didn't mean to actually start Teams. Oh no, what's it going to do? Close it, quick!
Free and click on the Teams icon.
Anyway, speaking of Teams as well, and Microsoft, do you hear that Microsoft has just beat AWS in terms of market share?
I'm amazed.
Yeah, so
there was a big gap.
There was a big gap, and we've been following this fairly closely. But this is from a research firm called IDC. The research firm reported that Microsoft accumulated 14.4% of the market's $408.6 billion in revenues last year, just a whisker ahead of the 13.7 that AWS snared. So in terms of market share, market revenues, Azure is ahead. And then Salesforce, Google, and SAP rounded out the top 5 in IDC's ranking, with those vendors capturing 40% of the total market. And overall market revenues increased 29%.
Okay, so this seems to be a different sort of market though, right? Because Salesforce and SAP are they're obviously SaaS players, but they don't have public cloud services.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused why they've included them in this as well, because the article does say including infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, system infrastructure, SaaS, and application SaaS.
Okay, right. Gotcha.
So I suppose they're lumping Salesforce in with that, and the SAP in with that sort of, grouping there.
Well done, Microsoft.
Well,
okay, all right. So now I'm thinking on this, like, okay, well, why would theirs jump so much higher if it's including SaaS revenues? Office 365 would be a big chunk.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, that's probably what it is. That's probably when they've been quite aggressive, trying to get people onto that, of course. Yep. Anyway, we won't linger on that too long. I forgot to ask you, Dave, what have you been up to?
In comparison to you, it's been pretty pedestrian around here. No great drives. The car's in the driveway. I'm just getting ready to get some concrete laid out on the weekend, so getting all things prepared for that for my veranda. It's
nice.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. Have a new spot for the barbecue.
Yeah, a bit of home maintenance is always good.
Yeah, especially when the warmer weather comes around finally.
Yep. Anyway, I thought we'd get on with the show. Story that was everywhere in the last, actually been 3 weeks, so I had a lot of stories to sort of digest, because we did record that last week's show a little bit earlier. But yeah, story getting around everywhere is ARM on Google Cloud.
This is really cool. And I think it's been a while coming. AWS has had the Gravitron chips for a while, so it's awesome to see this in GCP.
It is, yeah. Google Cloud has announced its first line of ARM-based virtual machines. I'm reading from an article on Tech Radar, which I'll link in the show notes. The new Tau TUA chips will join Google's existing line of Tau VMs. Now, I know we talked about Tau before, but I just completely forgot. The existing line of Tau VMs aren't ARM?
No, I think they are AMD EPIC.
AMD EPIC, right.
On the Milan CPUs.
Right, because which were launched in June 2021. Google says the new chips will be appropriate for scale-out workloads, including web servers, containerized microservices, data logging, media transcoding, and Java applications. So everything, really.
Yeah. Everything that's got an ARM binary. So,
which is the entire Linux distributions.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I need a whole bunch of Nginx servers behind a load balancer. Great, go save 30% of your costs to run them on ARM.
And that's the thing, isn't it? The hourly cost is a lot less. So they give an example here. A 32V CPU with 128 gig of RAM will be priced at $1,232 per hour. That'd be US. For on-demand usage in US Central 1. Price performance optimized for cloud-native applications. So you're saving the planet as well because you use less power.
Definitely one of those things that, if you are, as I said, if you're using a Linux distribution that's got an ARM version, you're using any of the really common kind of appliances, there's probably an ARM version for you.
Well, anything that runs on a Raspberry Pi, right?
Yeah.
So Canonical has joined forces with Google, and they've made the latest distributions of Ubuntu 22.04 and 22.10 will support ARM and will be fully supported on Google Cloud.
Awesome.
Very awesome. So I'll definitely be checking that out. I mean, for simple things, even for not so simple things, this is going to be the way to go. There's
Definitely.
no doubt. This is going to be the way to go. Cheaper, more powerful, less power. Yeah.
Right now, which regions are they available in? I don't think they were in Australia yet.
No, not yet.
I think I saw Singapore.
Right. Where can I sign up? The T2A VMs are currently only available for preview in a select few Google Cloud regions, including Iowa, Netherlands, and Singapore. But they will enter general availability in the coming months, according to Google.
Brilliant.
Be moving I got a few things in my personal projects. I'll probably be moving them over.
Yeah, for sure.
Workloads that can go in there. And I'll let you know how that goes. But came across another article about a couple of data articles here, and this one really piqued my interest about Cloud Spanner. Now, I'm not a data engineer at all, but Cloud Spanner.
But you do play one on television.
I play one on television. I play one on a podcast. Cloud Spanner, it breaks the walls, right? It just breaks the rules, and it's always amazed me how awesome that thing is. But the downside of it was there was no sort of unified. The interface was non-standard. You had to have this special driver and connect to it and blah, 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 blah. But now we've got a Postgres interface for it. And
so you can just pretend Spanner is Postgres.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
And just write to it or read to it, access it like it's a Postgres database. The new interface increases the portability of workloads to and from Spanner and provides a globally distributed option to developers already familiar with Postgres. Simple as that. You just hook up to it like a Postgres data source. And then you pay through the nose for it. But no. but people want this. People want highly consistent, global, highly redundant databases.
I'm going to connect a little Django web server to a Cloud Spanner backend.
Run your WordPress website off it for sure. Well, the syntax supported is similar to standard Postgres. There are some caveats here, right? So while the syntax supported is standard, it's similar to standard process. Workloads relying on stored procedures, extensions, triggers, or non-serializable isolation require rework to run on Spanner. So I can understand why it doesn't support extensions. And I suppose the rest of it as well, triggers, non-serialized and procedures. So if you're just treating it like a data store and stuff's just going in and out and you're not doing anything special, have at it. Should work fine. Yeah. The schemas and queries that you write against Spanner Postgres SQL interface will run mostly without modifications in another Postgres SQL environment, either in Google Cloud or elsewhere. So they're claiming the schemas and the commands are compatible, just with a few little caveats.
So cool.
Very cool. I wouldn't mind trying this out for like 5 minutes. just to see it work.
Just in your personal account, that's fine.
No. The new Postgres interface is configured per database at creation time. Administrators can provision and manage Postgres SQL databases by using the existing console APIs and Google Cloud CLI. But just like anything else.
Okay, all right. So we were just joking there about cost. Actually, can you just scroll to the bottom for a moment? We were joking about cost, but there's a note down here that running the new granular instances, customers can run a Spanner database starting at $65 US a month or $40 a month with a 3-year commitment. And there are no additional costs associated with the new PostgreSQL interface.
Yeah, so that's like 3 times faster.
Actually, not too bad.
Not too bad, no. The new granular instances. I ignored that before. Granular instances. What's this all about? Granular instances sizing for Cloud Spanner now run production workloads for as low as 40 per month. Because look, that was always my criticism of it. It was stupidly expensive. Okay, well, I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. It is linked off this article that we were just reading from, which is on infoq.com. But if you want to find out about granular instances as well, it's all there. And another database story, I thought we'd sort of lump them all in together. We've got Google Cloud introduces 2 new security features in BigQuery to help secure sensitive data. Now, this is cool. Google has added column-level encryption tool and dynamic masking of information to its software as a service data repository, BigQuery. And the article here on marketpost.com goes on to say, these features help safeguard and protect sensitive data by adding a second level of protection, a top access control. So you've got your normal access control, and then you've got this encryption thing. So the column level encryption improves security by allowing each column to have its own encryption key rather than having a single key for the whole database.
Right. So you might have certain parts of the data that you're more concerned about than others.
Right. And I immediately thought, well, that's perfect for PII.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You might want certain parts of the business to have access to one area and other parts of the business to have access to another area. The PII, is only available to certain groups, whatever. And also, and they put out in this article, administrators no longer need to develop different data sets with encrypted data and distribute these copies to the appropriate users. So, test and dev,
yep,
you could actually use a real data set, and the PII data is encrypted, so it can't actually be read, but it's a real data set.
Yeah, true.
Right? And it does talk about that. The new features can help improve security, manage access control, adhere to privacy law, and build secure test environments. Nice.
Nice, very cool.
The other feature is this dynamic information masking. Now, I don't completely understand this, but dynamic information masking gives administrators additional flexibility by allowing them to select the extent to share the data or disguise data, increasing column level security. Oh, right. It's twigged with me now. So it's a mask across the column to say, these groups can access these things or these groups can access these things. Gotcha. It's just an extra layer. Yeah. Administrators may use these capabilities to obscure important data and manage user access while minimizing the risk of data leaks. Right. Talk about granular. Well, that's about the extent of my data knowledge. Let's move on to something that's a little I guess more government procedural level things, less techie. Google Cloud joins AWS Azure in Gov Data Sovereignty Scheme. This is on it.news.com.au. Google Cloud revealed its certified strategic status overnight, making it the 9th cloud provider to be accredited at that level.
Very good.
Very good. Finally got this certification. So Google has become the latest cloud service provider to be cleared to carry sensitive public sector data and protected level systems under federal government's hosting certification framework, HCF. I guess there were many hoops they had to jump through to get this.
I imagine so, yeah.
Yeah. And here's what I found funny too. Under new rules that came into force this month, agencies can only host sensitive government data, whole of government systems, and systems rated to a protected level with such privileges. It was snuck in, apparently. The mandate applies to all new extensions to existing contractors for hosting services after the Digital Transformation Agency quietly changed the scope of the policy.
Right. So they kind of got this one in just in time.
Come on, guys. Don't you think this is important? You shouldn't just go quietly changing policies. Dyer said Google Cloud also maintains an IRAP certification, which confirms its security controls meet the requirements prescribed by the Australian Cybersecurity Centre. So they still maintain that.
Very good.
Very good. So, HCF for Google. I imagine that might help get a few of our clients across the line as well in terms of security. Yeah, had thought I'd mention that one. So let's move on. Another security news. In other security news, Apigee. Google Cloud announces advanced API security through Apigee.
Continuing to build on the Apigee integration.
Yeah, so they acquired Apigee in 2016, which we know about, integrating the startup's cloud-based API creation and management platform into a service available for Google Cloud platform. And then they added features like monitoring, security, Cloud Armor, Cloud IAP, and now we can say advanced API security can make it easier for API teams to identify API proxies that do not conform to security standards. Nice. To help identify APIs that are misconfigured or experiencing abuse. Advanced API security regularly assesses managed APIs and provides API teams with a recommended action when configuring issues are detected. And you get this little dashboard. I'll link in the show notes. This is on infoq.com. And you get a little dashboard there. You can see what we've got here. We've got number of scores, proxies, targets. So it specializes in detecting bots and identifying API misconfigurations. When it detects a configuration issue, the service assesses managed APIs and recommends action. So it's constantly checking and then makes a recommendation for you, right?
Yep.
And I guess this is all part of Google's big security drive, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and this will probably dovetail into like some sort of security dashboard, I'd imagine, and give you some sort of overall score, because you can see a score here, API security scores. According to a recent cloud identity study, 44% of companies have experienced significant API authorization issues.
Jeez.
Involving privacy, data leakage, and object property exposure with internal and external facing APIs. Because this is literally what we're talking about today, right, Dave, with whitelisting, right?
Yeah.
If you've just got this endpoint just flapping around in the wind, right, and
anything can hit it.
anything can hit it, right? If your only level of security is like some file that just says these IPs are allowed in, or these ones aren't, and it's giving you a response, you can bet it's going to be compromised, right? If you're not right on top of that and you've got that all patched and ready to go, this is why I think, what in the project we're on, Dave, that we've landed on, I think having it block at the infrastructure level is far better. Rather than just having it
get all the way through to you're making Apache do that for you.
Yeah, or Nginx, having them knock on the front door. No, you want to stop them. You want to stop them coming in the street, right? You don't want them having them coming right up to the front door, and then you've got the front door open with a little chain across it going, "Hello."
It's more like they've come in, they sit down at the table, go out, and actually you're not allowed to have this cup of tea. You can come into the house. Oh, can you leave now, please?
Can you leave now, please? And that is right. It's quite akin to that, isn't it? So if you're going to set up an API, use Apigee, and that everything's been patched and updated, and this security tool is checking that you're configured correctly and you don't have any holes or any authorization issues. Give you the warm and fuzzies around that. All right, moving on. Dave.
Oh, yeah.
You've been experimenting with some things.
I have. So this is something actually I've been kind of wanting to play with for a while. But this week, Google ChromeOS Flex was released out. So a few months back, I was working on a project with someone who used a Chromebook. And, we were developing a whole bunch of stuff. We had, Docker containers and stuff. And he was able to do everything on this Chromebook. I didn't realize that they were, sort of so capable. I thought, it was just a web browser on a laptop and, you had to do everything in a web. But that is not the case.
It's like a big phone, right? That's all it is.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing, right? And, but no, so he really blew me away. And I'd had my eye out because I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll buy a Chromebook. And I was having a look at a few. Nothing had really kind of kind of stuck out to me. And then, lo and behold, this week, ChromeOS Flex is released, which is a way for you to be able to go and really revive, especially like ancient laptops and old desktop computers and stuff, and install ChromeOS on them. And it works really well. So I've got like a bunch of old, like HP Elite books that are like 7-8 years old around the house. They're the kids' machines. Tried firing it up with a just an 8 gig USB key, and it's just brilliant. Just works.
Yeah, right. So, when I think of Chrome OS and your phone, it's a touchscreen experience. So using a mouse, does it translate?
Yeah, using a mouse. Like I said, I'm using an Elite book. I can use my the touchpad in there. I get full everything. Webcam works, Bluetooth works, Wi-Fi.
Right.
It's a very easy experience.
Right, and I think you mentioned there's a list of certified hardware for it?
Yeah, there is. So on the website for ChromeOS Flex, there's a link to all these certified devices. There's a couple of Macs in there, like there's MacBook Pros going back to like 2014. As I've mentioned the HP stuff, there's like pretty much every Elite book and Pro book in there, and a lot of Dell. There's heaps.
Yeah, right. So can you go to the Play Store? Does the Play Store exist?
Yes, I think so.
Right. So, because that's all. You're on x86. Obviously, this is on x86, and Play Store stuff's written. ARM, Snapdragon, that kind of stuff. How does that translate? Like,
what's I'm gonna have to do more playing around with it.
So many questions, Dave.
Yeah,
many questions.
I was like just before the call, I'd sort of got to the point where like, oh, okay, cool. I'm in. I was getting the Linux environment up and running to do the developer mode. So that was where my focus was. I'm like, okay, cool. It's running and it's nice and fast, and I like how it integrates with my phone because I use an Android phone. So I'm starting to see like some of the notifications and stuff come through, and it's like, oh, okay, this is like what the Apple people have. They have their iPhones and the Macs. I'm like, okay, this is you're selling me on this here. And so my next part is to get the developer environment up and running. If I can get VS Code and I can get Docker up and running, then I'll be set. I think that might switch over to being my daily driver.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, right.
Maybe I can report back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. But if you want to have that integrated feeling, for anyone using Linux, using KDE, you can use a thing called KDE Connect. Actually, you don't need KDE to run it. KDE Connect, you run it on your desktop and you run it on your phone, and it gives you that integrated. So messages are available on your desktop, and you can message back, and you can control media remotely, you can access photos, all that kind of stuff with KDE Connect. So it does do that for you. But I'd imagine Chrome OS, that's going to just completely integrate with your entire G drive and everything.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'm installing it just as like, the individual kind of person. But there is a whole enterprise version of it as well. So you can deploy it out remotely. You can manage a fleet of machines. I had a look at the pricing for the enterprise license, and it was like $50 US a year per device. So, well worth. Anyone who's worked in enterprise, the mountain of old laptops that are sitting on, sitting on shelves that, I can't run Windows 11 on there, which is like that whole thing for Windows 11 has blocked a lot of machines from getting upgraded.
Yep.
Well, it's going to run Chrome OS fine.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the specs here. We're running on Intel or AMD 64-bit. You need 4 gig of RAM, 4 gig of RAM. Yeah. 4. You need 16 gig of hard drive space. You can run off a thumb drive like you're doing. Bootable from a USB. And you'll need full admin access to the BIOS. So you can make, obviously, adjust the boot medium there. So the graphics components made before 2010 might cause poor experience. Yeah, okay. And Intel GMA 500, 600, 3600, and 3650 graphics hardware do not meet ChromeOS Flex performance standards. Okay. So even with that, there's still a lot of laptops that's going to run
a lot of machines.
Yeah. Besides getting years more work out of your old hardware, Google claims ChromeOS Flex gives you proactive security. Right, okay. I wonder if, it's going to tie in with their whole security offering. Easy deployment and management of ChromeOS Flex. Fast modern work experiences. Devices don't slow down. Background updates reduce device downtime and improve productivity. So is the whole OS sort of geared towards the cloud experience, or have you got local storage as well? Right, okay.
Yeah. It's an online device. It's kind of like a thin client in that regards. Like everything else is you're connecting remotely, but I'm really excited. I'm enjoying the time I've spent with it so far, and I'm looking forward to installing it as my daily driver. So
yeah, well, I mean, we can do that in Casson. We've got the whole Google Workspaces experience that makes that sort of thing easy. All right, well, you know what? I've got to look down there, see what I've got here for laptops.
You got to have it. A mountain of old machines.
I think I've got a 2007 MacBook just sitting there.
It might do it, yeah.
It might do it.
All you need to do is you install, there's a ChromeOS like recovery utility. You install as an extension in Chrome, download it, and off you go.
I'll give it a go this afternoon. The screens on those old MacBooks are really nice, so it might look good. Cool. All right, that's ChromeOS Flex. I'll put a link in the show notes. All right, and I thought we'd finish off here with a bonus item. I love quantum computing stories, and I'm really excited. I actually think this is one of the few one of the few engineering things that I'm probably going to see before I'm dead.
You're not really hoping on fusion, are you?
Not going to see fusion, right? Solar and battery, they're just so incremental, like it's so slow just trying to get there. But quantum computing, we're nearly there. We've nearly got a plug-in quantum device that you can put into your home computer. And according to this article, it can make things run 280 times faster. Well, this is I got a couple of articles on this, so I'll link in the show notes. But the one I got here is IT Wire. Nothing that many real-world applications of quantum computing actually require a combination of quantum and classical computing. GPU maker NVIDIA has introduced NVIDIA Quantum Optimized Device Architecture. That's a mouthword. Which it describes as an open, unified environment for today's most powerful computers and quantum processors, improving scientific productivity and enabling greater scale in quantum research. So my takeaway from this is that it's an architecture or like a design or sort of a plan around interfacing classical computers with quantum systems, quantum computer. Qoda, they call it, provides a coherent hybrid quantum classical programming model, that's the word I was looking for today's most powerful computers and quantum processors. It provides a single model for C+ and Python programming, he said. This is quoting Thomas Costa, who's NVIDIA's Director of High Performance Computing and Quantum Computing Products. And is around 280 times faster as one of the current leading frameworks when running on the same hardware.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. You're going to need this, right? You're going to need some way of this framework makes it easy to just program regular C or regular Python and just run it on a quantum system. And that blows my mind that it can be that easy to do. It will speed up how they get things done without them needing to do all the low-level programming, so it makes life much easier. A beta version of Qoda will be available later this year, with general availability expected in 2023. So, there's an Australian company called Quantum Brilliance. So we've mentioned them on a couple of early shows that come up occasionally, but they are literally designing and developing a product. It's been built in Germany, and it's, you can get like a 2-qubit or a 4-qubit or an 8-qubit model, room temperature quantum card that you just plug into your computer like you would a video card. And then if you had your NVIDIA Qoda driver, so that's basically what it would amount to, then you could just offload compute to the quantum system.
All right, this is
via your driver.
Like harking back to the days of the math coproccessor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's no different to a GPU, right?
Yeah.
That's you offload
we had
your
physics
graphic
cards for a while.
Oh, PhysX cards, yeah. And then basically the GPU just consumed that and became a PhysX card. You can bet that this is NVIDIA's roadmap to basically have quantum graphics cards.
Yeah. To be QTX cards instead of RTX.
Hey, there you go.
Patent pending.
Bing, let's brand that now. That's us. We've got it. QTX. GTX, RTX, QTX, the next generation.
Yeah, I'm sure that the lawyers would be fine with that.
No, we coined it. It's ours. Just reading from another article here, quantum optimized device architecture aims to make quantum computing more accessible by creating a coherent quantum classical programming model. So it's a hybrid between the two, right? It's a hybrid. Qoda is an open, which is interesting for NVIDIA, unified environment for some of today's most powerful computers and quantum processing, improving scientific productivity, enabling greater scale in quantum research. I'm actually quite excited about this. You know, like we said, we're not going to see fusion anytime soon, but this is just on the doorstep.
You can see, you can smell it.
I can smell it. Can absolutely smell it. Yep. Anyway, guys, we might finish up there. Like I said, there was a lot to pick and choose from today, but I think we got through the juiciest things. Don't forget to go and try out Flex. I'm definitely going to give it a go.
Yeah, do it. Everyone should do it.
Yeah,
blow away your corporate laptop. I'm sure your IT department won't mind.
What do you mean the VPN doesn't work? Oh, yeah, how's the VPN clients on it? Is that all? I suppose that OpenVPN works.
I don't know what. Probably can use the inbuilt one. You're asking me questions I haven't had a chance to play with that much there.
Well, check that out. Big IP as well. See how that goes. Anyway, guys, don't forget to go and write us a review on iTunes. That'll really help out the show. And check out Kasna Between Two Clouds on YouTube. That's our sister YouTube channel. You can contact the show, gcplife@kasna.com.au. We've got the Twitter there, GCP Life, and the website. Just Google GCP Life. You'll find that. And, of course, today's sponsor is Kasna. At Kasna, we make your Google Cloud solutions possible. Oh, I think that's about it for us. Next week, we're going to have a special show. It's going to be a deep dive into GCVE, which is Google Cloud's VMware on Google Cloud. Getting very excited about that. We've got a lot of work ahead of us with that one, Dave. Yeah, we do indeed. And I think we'll have a special guest with us. And we will have special guests as well. So, that's about it from me. Anything from you, Dave? No, I just hope everyone has a great time and get Flexy. Get Flexy and see ya. Bye. Bye. Get Flexy. Get Flexy. You said it, not me.